Well, you look the part, but let's see some of your moves.
Feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy. The carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading.
All right, there we go. I don't know if I have the chat comments working or not, so
We'll figure it out sooner or later.
yeah. Well, I think this computer, that'll be my next thing, to trash this computer. So Ken is not here. Ken is out and about, further west than you are, right?
He is.
Yeah. So we're gonna fly solo or duo. But let's, anyone watching us, you can check John out at the Best Guard Bucket, which probably hasn't released much lately.
Nope.
Podcasting summer. I know there are podcasters that put podcasts out in the summer, but podcasting summer is like, it just always seems like on paper you're like, oh, I could let out tons of shows, and then in reality it's the exact opposite. So
yeah, it's been dry since Celebration.
Yeah.
So
you gotta get ready for that Tokyo celebration.
Right.
Get that sweet job with Reed Pop and just go right over to Tokyo.
If only.
I check those jobs all the time with Reed Pop and what's the other one? Fan Expo is always hiring too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm keeping up on those because I wouldn't mind doing that.
But what do we have? I hear my echo now too. What are you building? Anything? Any Star Wars we can talk about in your life?
Other than the trading cards that I've been putting together for funsies,
which are awesome.
So yeah, thankfully I found those. I was bored. I've been tinkering with the newest update in Photoshop, so I needed something to keep me busy. So I found a template for those cards.
Nice. Now, do you subscribe to Adobe or you just have it bought outright?
I'm currently soaking up a free trial.
Oh, okay. Because the girls had it while they were in college. Zoe did, and then I didn't have to pay for it, but now I'm back to paying.
Yeah, I think I'll go just to the monthly subscription.
That's what I did. As much as it's cheaper to buy it by the year, I just couldn't fork over that big chunk of change.
Yeah, the Photoshop is not cheap, and it's so unfortunate because it's so useful.
Well, I have my old Adobe for my Mac. I think the last time I bought it outright was probably 2006 or 7. I think I paid almost $1,000.
Woof.
And it was just, here's some discs, and then guess what? Next year it's outdated. So in one sense, it's nicer to subscribe, I guess.
Yeah,
but the trading cards are awesome.
What's that?
The trading cards, they're very nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What's your dad think of them?
Dad loves them. Dad's getting them all printed. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's the trading cards he grew up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got 3 complete sets of the the original Topps cards.
Do you have the 3PO with the misprint of 3?
I haven't looked through them yet.
If it's not a complete set, you have it. It's not because it's not really a misprint.
Right.
It's just I think either something was falling off or it's just a, you know.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I haven't actually looked through all of them. I was always just told they were complete.
Yeah.
So I'd have to look. But
my favorite were the widescreen ones that came out in the early 90s.
Mhm.
They were just such beautiful pictures. Like the pictures were so high def. I had the blue and the green. I think when I was a kid. I don't know what happened. They were long. You can go to what's it, Steel City. They have that one guy that sells all the old wax packs.
Yep.
Of Fonzie cards.
Well, speaking of Steel City, they had one heck of a show.
Yeah.
Not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
You know, I was eating in Lancaster, and I had my white version of this Boba Fett shirt on, and the one worker, like, it was an older lady. She brought out the one coat to show him my shirt, you know, and then he was like, yeah, I was just in Pittsburgh, and I was like, were you at Steel City Con? He's like, yeah, so it's funny.
Yeah, Dad and I are going to try and make it again in December. Hopefully, there's
Book the hotel now.
I think the hotel's already booked.
See,
so granted, we have GalaxyCon the weekend before.
Oh, okay.
So if we go, it's probably going to be just like either Friday or Sunday. I really don't want to go on Saturday again.
Well, if you sign up, yeah. I just remember I used to love the December shows because it was like cold, but so you could, you know, and you'd stay at the hotel. But if you would move your car in December and you had to go park over at the mall, even if you're staying at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we parked at the Macy's last year and we had two characters with dragging clothes. So it was a bunch of, all right, we're going to hoist up my skirt. Dad's going to hold up his cape and we're going to trek across these parking lots.
I was going there so long across the street the first time we went, where it's like a Home Goods or something. That was a Kmart.
Wow.
Because Missy had to go get a bucket for us to do the raffle one time because we didn't have anything to pull the tickets out of. She's like, "Oh, just go to Kmart."
Nice. Yeah. God, Kmart. How long has it been since they've been out of business? It's been what?
But there was a Kmart there the first year we went.
Wow. Yeah,
I just get so spoiled with staying at the hotel. I don't know.
Yeah, we have actually a month from today. We have Cincinnati Comic Expo that
nice.
Dad is super excited for. However, the same situation. They've got a hotel that's more or less connected to the convention center. Totally booked out. We had to book a hotel in Kentucky. So, because everything in the Cincinnati area was either completely booked or it was $300, $400, $500 a night.
Yeah.
So we booked a hotel right across the Ohio River for $100 a night.
Nice.
So, but Dad is super excited because now that he has his AT-AT commander approved, Julian Glover is going to be at that convention.
Nice.
So I think I've got him convinced to get his autograph and have him sign the inside of his chest plate.
Yeah.
So because we have a
now, are you trooping it? Are you trooping it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you might get to run into them. A lot of times they'll do like a, you know, that's cool. I might try. I got to see what the date is for Aaron Scare this year.
Oh yeah, that's right, Aaron. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to get Dad to go.
I gotta check the date.
Yeah, because if it's that last week of October, or the last weekend in October again, I don't think I'll be able to get Dad to go because they'll be in Alabama.
Now, do you think your dad's going to soon start traveling with his costume? So, like, when he travels with your... No.
He won't do it if I don't.
Oh, okay.
So, But yeah. So what else have you been building?
Oh man, I've been just going through crap. Like I got IG-11 is done. I just got to put some wires on it, and he'll be down here. Uh, I finished. I think I had it down here before. I finished the tank driver.
Oh, very nice. Now, is that a green or is that more like a slate gray?
It is a black underspray with a light coat of camo green, and then I painted the whole thing with a wash of black and washed it all off. And then so it's a greenish, grayish mess. But it is so heavy. It is solid Bondo. Like this weighs as much as like it probably weighs more than a motorcycle helmet. Like Mark
and offers zero protection.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, but whoever they filled the whole thing. Like it's
wow.
Like it's probably as heavy as like if you hold someone's Vader helmet.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably heavy as one of the old Vader helmets.
Gotcha.
But it's nice. I mean, I wound up drilling holes in the helmet I put 2 metal screws to hold this just because of the weight of it.
Mm.
I didn't want to trust glue. But Mark gave it to me as a gift, so I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So
yeah, why not? Never turned down a free helmet.
Right. And I got Keeley's helmet done. I think I showed that before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy with the lens, but I just gotta wait for more. Everyone's out of lens material, but Keeley's done.
How's the armor coming?
That's on the pile. Then I started working on my Volkswagen, and I got the motor pulled out of that, and I just picked up an engine stand yesterday, so I'm going to throw that on the engine stand because I was just going to pull the motor, put a clutch in, and put it back out. And when I pulled the motor, I was like, I really should fix some of this stuff before I stick the motor back in. So, and I've never really worked on a car when I actually had money. Like, not that I'm like rolling in cash, but like I used to like, okay, let's go get a $5 fix it. You know, so I got all the cuts done in the Tuscan rifles. I started working on the Sabine armor. That Bondo with acetone, I feel, is the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to put you have to. This is what's worked for me, and I'm getting it. I do a light sanding over the 3D printed item, and then I do the Bondo, brush the whole thing, and I did 2 shoulder bells, one by hand and one with a sander. I wanted to see which one. It didn't make a difference, so I'll probably from now on just hit it with a sander, and then clean up with any and then I hit it with spray primer, sand it again, and then I just painted it. And then that paint, I could see ridges. So I took 2500 grit sandpaper, which is basically like really rough paper.
Yeah, that's cardstock.
Yeah. And I went over that because, sometimes you get those lines in the paint where it's like smooth, coarse. You can see it in the paint.
Yeah.
Well, this took that down to almost like glass, all of them. And then I just hit the paint again. So once I refined that, I think because I only used a fraction of the spray primer and a fraction of the Bondo stuff that I would have normally used.
So. I still like the modeling paste.
That's fine. The modeling paste. Which I mean, I think what I see from all these 3D printer people is you have to find what's good for you. I've been using Bondo since I was 12, so I've been using it for 40 some years. So I'm just used to that. I tried the wood putty, and I didn't like the wood putty. And I tried the wood putty with Bondo, and with acetone, and that was pretty good. My biggest worry about that wood putty, I feel that if I banged the helmet up against something hard, that wood putty wouldn't stay in.
See, that's the problem I have with Bondo. Is I always seem to find cracks or chips out of it.
Yeah, well, I did too, and that's why I think this acetone fixes that, because you're putting it on so thin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the problem with Bondo is people put it on too thin. It's the same with when they work on cars. Like, if you're going to use that Bondo to fill a dent more than like a quarter of an inch, it should take you like a week to do it, because you should be layering it like paper thin every time and sanding most of it out.
Right.
You know. So, and then I got my garage done. So like everything I found, like working on stuff, like if I was working on Vader and then I would go work on something else, it took more time to get Vader back because of the dust. So I bought a whole bunch of bins. So like my Vader boxes are in airtight bins. So when I want to work on Vader, I just pull it out. And so I seem like I'm getting way more done, just from an organizational standpoint.
Speaking of Vader, did you ever make a decision on your belt buckle yet?
Yeah, I just got to buy it. I'm not going to. There's a bunch of people on Etsy. I'm sidetracked with any new Sabine stuff I have to build, because that's a whole new belt system, and I'm debating on taking pictures of it and taking it to a tack harness person, like an Amish tack harness, and just ask them, look, do you have any old leather? So then I'm not buying new leather, so it doesn't go against my vegan ways. But if they have old leather that they can cut me that looks like beat up old belts, I'd be fine with that.
Is that for the holster system?
Yeah. Because it's a weird, like, they couldn't have just,
I trust me, I know. I hate how complicated they're making all these holsters, bandoliers, belts anymore.
Well, yeah. So, and then I have an Under Armour suit coming. I have a Bo-Katan Under Armour suit coming. The only thing I think that might cause me a problem is it has some brown trim up here.
Okay.
So, if I can't adjust it, probably by the time it gets here, Cosplay Sky will make the right one. I mean, what's nice about the Cosplay Sky now is they sent me a message, because they said, when do you want it? When you order it now? And I said, at the time, I said, when I ordered it back in June, I said I want it by August 18th. They sent me a message, look, we can't get it done. You'll probably get it end of August. But along with that, they can do custom work.
Really?
So, yeah, they'll say, do you want custom work done? I don't know what it costs,
Well,
but we'll see. If I get it, the one nice thing, if I get it, it would be nice. Then I can take it to a seamstress, a non-cosplay seamstress. I take it to an average seamstress, and say, look, I need this made just like this, but in this style. So,
yeah. Speaking of seamstress, I just spoke to the lady that I ordered my new Kylo pants from.
Yeah.
I originally messaged her back in the end of July, and I was like, hey, just checking in, any updates? Because she had told me, she's like, yeah, it'll be like, I ordered them in the middle of June. She's like, it'll be about 4 to 6 weeks. So I think right after the 6th week mark, I messaged her and I was like, hey, are there any updates? She's like, oh, it'll ship out probably the first week of August.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd week of August. So she messaged me a couple days ago, and she was like, hey, I'm almost ready to ship these out. Like, I just need these measurements. And I was like, I feel like you should have asked for those measurements when I ordered them in the list of other measurements. But
when I ordered stuff for the girls from Wendy, from West Virginia, I had the girls stand with their arms out, front and back. And I actually, with Photoshop, put the measurements on. It's stuff she didn't even ask for. Because I was like, just stand there, measure, and set it out. And when Wendy made the girls' stuff, man, it fit like a glove. So
I'm really hoping that these pants are going to be
cool.
They're going to have a nice tailored fit. But hopefully, I get those before. I'd like to have them at the beginning of September. That way, I can submit Supreme Leader Kylo and have that approved before CCE.
Nice.
But I'm not going to hold my breath because our GMLs are extremely swamped right now.
Really?
So
Yeah. Yeah, my costuming building didn't pan out this summer as I planned.
trust me, you're preaching to the choir. I acquired one costume.
I'm still at one. But my kids worked all the time too. So like, you know, like so Zoe would be off and then she'd go to her other jobs. You
Well, hey, at least she's working.
know. Yeah, she got production. She was working for production, so she did good. Like because it was like a church or something. It was producing videos. They paid quite well. I was like, do it, you know. So, until she goes out to California, which from what I heard from the strike today, I don't think it's going to be. It's going to go on a little longer.
I'm sure that's bittersweet for you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, it's like any strike, and again, I grew up with this. I lived in a steel town. All the hardships for a strike are usually short-term hardships for long-term gain. So the writers are, you know, I mean, again, like the one writer said, I forget what the amount was that they were asking for from like Disney in all their contracts. It was half of what Bob Iger makes in a year for all of them. You know, like I don't think they're being unreasonable. And I think what's lucky for them is I think the big wigs they're fighting are fighting in a pre-1990s mentality. They don't realize that the whole world's like all labor is watching. You know, I mean, look at what UPS just got a pretty good deal.
Right.
Which I was like, wait a minute, they make what? I can drive.
Hey, speaking from by proxy experience, package delivery is not fun.
Dude, I did it for 2 years. I used to deliver to Manhattan.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I used to deliver copier paper, which you can't get any heavier. You can't get heavier boxes than that. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
And I used to deliver to the historic district of York, PA. So a lot of their law offices would order cases of paper with no elevators. So just take 10 cases of copier paper out.
Oh yeah. No thanks. That's not for me.
Yeah, but
have you trooped at all recently?
No. And again, I go back and forth on this because Marty wanted me to do the ball game. You know, yesterday there was a Phillies game, and I thought about it. I don't know. I keep reading all those SAG-AFTRA rules, and I'm like, you know, I don't know. I was just like, well, I mean, it's even when that fan event came up last week, like Zoe and I had already planned that if we got invited, we'd say, you know, stuff like that. And I don't begrudge people that do, you know, everyone has to do it in their own mind. I don't think anyone begrudges people. I don't know. I just, it's weird. But we haven't had, again, a ball game. I don't know. Ball games aren't my thing anyway. And we just haven't had any good troops. Like the girls wanted to go to a con, so we went to a con in Lehigh Valley, which is about an hour north of here. And the con was in hallways, like literal hallways. Like it was so tiny, and it was like in a room. So we took 000 and Dr. Afra, since they're both book characters.
Right. Yeah, I think my thing is, if it's not a Lucasfilm event, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm probably in that same boat. Like, and that's where, like I said, the ball game is kind of like a Lucasfilm. Kind of, it's like an open call. But I don't have any hard feelings towards Lucasfilm or even Disney at that part. I just think that like I've said this before. We don't have to live in a society where it's like people making no money and people making tons of money. Like, no one, I have to deal with this every 4 years when our contract comes up. So,
Right.
So I know the games that get played. They don't really do it as much lately for teachers because they can't get people to do it. Like no one wants. Like all these people that said, "Well, I'll just teach my kids at home," and then they got stuck with them at home. They're like, "No, send them back to school." And
makes negotiations real easy when there's no one else to do it.
Well, what happened with ours was the admin, our admin had to cover for substitutes. For years, we were like, "Look, you got to pay," because they paid our substitutes crap. We're like, "You got to pay substitutes." Oh no. And our for like 3 weeks in when COVID hit, our they didn't have any substitutes, so principals had to cover and admin had to cover. They upped the sub pay like pretty much instantly. So, but yeah, I can't wait to get IG-11 down here. I want to print chopper now, so that's why tomorrow in the rain, like I got to move this 500 millimeter printer. The body, if I print it with a 0.4 nozzle, I can print the full body, 2/3 of the body on that 500 millimeter, but it's I think it's a 10-day print or something like that.
That's not bad, all things considered.
But I have to that's on a 0.4. I might just throw a 0.8 and cut that time in half.
Yeah, I mean, you'll cut the time in half, but then you'll also probably double your work time or your post-processing time.
Well, and the what's nice is with the Michael Badley files is there's almost no supports.
Right.
Like it prints, and then you print the top third, and then the Michael Badley has the wobble head, so you can put a server in to make the head wobble.
Nice.
But the only other thing is I have one spool of PET G. All my others are PLA plus, and I'm just debating on doing PLA plus on the whole thing.
I like PLA plus. I don't think PET G is. I don't think it's worth it with how expensive it can be.
Yeah, well, that's because my whole IG-11 is PLA plus.
Mm-hmm. Hell, all of my prints for the last 2 years have been PLA plus.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I gotta check the prints anyway because I have all my printers set to ultra fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I could probably click it to standard and probably knock a couple days. Because I did Ken's. I printed him whatever that helmet is with the mask.
Yeah.
And then I have that biker helmet that Sabine was wearing.
Mm-hmm.
I have that. That's queued up and ready to go. I was going to start it today, but I want to move the printer, and so it's like I'm just going to. But
yeah, our basement's a wreck right now. So my printers have been offline for the last month. So that helmet is the first thing that's going on my printer. I'm not going to make Sabine's helmet. I'm going to customize it.
Yeah, I was thinking that helmet would be good for like a partisan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you could, or almost like a biker gang-ish kind of thing. And I get the orange face shield. Like you can print the shield, but you can buy an orange piece of translucent and just notch them. And the file, I got it from 3D Man.
Okay.
It comes with a stencil for the paint too, which I think a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, mine are from Galactic Armory, so yeah. I'm curious as to how the two will compare. Unless they
I think a lot. I think a lot of the guys, because I've seen a lot of 3D Man files come across. They'll go to 3D Man, then they come across the CG Trader, and you know what I mean, like.
Mm. Yeah, well, the thing is, Galactic Armory is he partners with a lot of
Yeah.
file makers. So,
Yeah.
like a lot of his blasters are a certain I don't want to say company. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's the same place that they come from.
I just like the Three Demons. I like how a lot of they make, and Galactic Army is the same way. They make blasters that like open and load and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I just sold a pair of Westar 35s, Bo-Katan's blasters.
Yeah.
I just sold a pair, and the guy was super stoked that it came with like the reloadable blast cartridges.
Well, I printed. I have 2 files for those. I have the solid Westars, just prints in one print, the whole gun. Mm-hmm. It's standing on end and it prints. And then I just printed 2 for Zoe that are in I don't know, like 20 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to wedge it together and stuff like that. It doesn't have the magazine. I have the clone for my Keeley. I have the ones with the magazine. I think they came from Galactic Army. But I've been looking at the droids because I did my droid head. You saw my battle droid head with the wires sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I was doing in my garage, I was just going through and like I pull out a bin. What's in here? I didn't even know I had a battle droid head. Battle droid head and half a neck. I was like, okay, throw it on there.
Yeah, thanks for that, by the way. My dad won't stop bugging me to print a B1 now.
Nice.
So that is somewhere in the docket.
You got to print the one that's coming out with that new game.
From Outlanders?
Yeah.
I thought he was a BX.
Oh, I don't know. He looks like a commando droid. Yeah. So what I thought about doing was, because I don't know where you get I get most of my droid files from Droid Division.
Me too.
Okay. So what I did for a friend of Safi's was I printed a battle droid. I sliced it and printed a bust up of the battle droid. I'm thinking to do a bust up of that and then just going to a thrift shop and buying a trench coat, just cutting the collar off and putting, because I don't want room to stand a whole droid.
Right.
Well, you know what the problem with when you print that battle droid, you're going to spend $50+ just on the hardware to put them together, because it's a special bolts from furniture bolts. Like when I bought the pit droid, a pit droid is about $25 worth of bolts. You have to buy these boxes so you have extra. I tried it with not doing that, and I wound up cracking so many pieces. So you almost have to, once you buy it, it'll tell you what to buy. Go on Amazon and just buy those bolts. Now, if you're going to buy a bunch of them, you can buy them in bulk and they're much cheaper.
Mm.
You have to buy those special furniture bolts to put them together.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, are they consistent? Because the only Droid Division file that I've bought is Bender.
All the droid, like the pit droids, the battle droids, that's all I know. And the live action pit droids, they use basically the same bolts, but you have to, a lot of them are different sizes, but they're built. What's nice is they do work much better, because I have one pit droid that before I felt like spending the money, I built with furniture bolts that I bought from like the big trays at Ace Hardware and stuff. Yeah. And it's not the same, because I was grinding things off and then couldn't tighten it right. So I would.
That's good to know.
Yeah, my IG-11. There's some pieces where I just fudged the bolts. I just put screws through. I'm just going to cut them off, because I was like, he's just going to stand there.
Yeah, it's a static prop.
Yeah. And no one really, like the pit droids, the problem is they're so tiny they get bumped and stuff, so you need to be tightening them. And the battle droid is just fun to pose.
Mm-hmm.
They're quick prints too, because
they're skinny. There's nothing to them.
Yeah, the only thing I would recommend is really look at your positioning, because sometimes it's way hard. You know this from printing, but it's not like a helmet where you have to grind off. You have to grind stuff off to make sure it fits together.
Right.
And so, like on IG-11, you can tell the pieces I printed first, because I didn't think about that. And so his legs were so much a pain in the ass to get together, because if I would have just positioned things a different way, it would have fixed everything.
Yeah, luckily, because I always had that same problem of things just not fitting together. Luckily, I kind of, I don't want to call it trained myself, but like I went through the motions with different blasters, lightsabers,
Yeah.
and then like I've got Palpatine's cane.
Oh,
That
nice.
I had to be really, really cautious of how I printed that because of how it snapped together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've dialed in my printer settings well enough now that I'm confident that I can print things and fit them together properly. And now I kind of know to be wary of the orientation.
The other thing is you check Michael Badley for droids too, because his stuff is I think his is like subscription or something like that.
Mhm.
But his stuff is made to not be static.
Right.
But Bender, man, I can't believe you haven't printed Bender yet.
Well, I started on a quarter scale Bender.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got the body, the head, and the door done, and then we had to rip our basement apart because we had to get some pipes replaced.
Fun times.
So we're kind of in the process right now of like, okay, we need to get this put back together. We also need to go through some of the stuff that we haven't touched since we moved in 13 years ago. So there's some give and take to be had there.
Yeah. Well, I know with my printer room, I've neglected it, but when I have it up and running perfectly, I tend to print more. Because like I blew the Teflon tube, because I run it hot, it burned a hole in it. That's an easy fix, but I got to be in the right mindset to just,
Right.
So my one printer is just sitting there. It's like,
Yeah, I'd love to know what's wrong with my Ender 3. Even though at this point in my 3D printing experience, it is the most worthless printer to have. When you have good printers, it's not worth my time to fix.
Dude,
but it would make some of those smaller prints. It would make me feel like I was wasting less time.
My CR10 just never lets me down, ever. It's my go-to. My Flash Forge is the same way, but it's so tiny. So my Flash Forge is getting a 0.2 nozzle. Like I'm just going to use that for fine prints. Just because my next printer is going to be the large liquid resin. That's just I don't see myself.
Yeah, I see. I was having this conversation with Ken last week. My thing with the resin printers, there's just so much post processing that needs to be done to upkeep the printer itself. I just like FDM printing. Like for small stuff, I use my resin printer, but
well, that's I have enough, because if they're all working, I have 2 Sovels, a CR10, a Flash Forge, and now I have the 500 millimeters Creality. And I have one other Sovel that if I just figure out what's wrong with it, the bar goes up crooked.
Mhm.
So it's something, either a motor or something. If I get that, then I'll have 3 Sovels. The problem with the Sovels, when they work, they tend to work without any problems, and then when they go haywire, it takes, like, when I put this new tube in, it's going to take me 2 or 3 prints to get everything back to how it was running.
Yeah.
Where my CR10, I could just I have it. I don't have any kind of leveling device on that, and I haven't leveled it in probably a year. And I just printed all those blaster pieces on one sheet. That covered the entire bed, and I got no lifting, nothing.
The CR10s are great. I love my because I've got 2.
Yeah,
and they are a workhorse.
And mine's the CR10 with nothing. It's not like the S or I don't have. It's like, I don't know, whatever came out 5 years ago or something. I think I paid $197.
Oh,
whatever the company was that was, I forget the name of the. It was almost like an AliExpress, but not quite.
Yeah.
AliExpress.
Yeah, I've got two CR10Ss that I paid a pretty penny for because I got them from Micro Center.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because when it comes to stuff like that, I would rather go to a store and buy it as opposed to like Amazon or like an AliExpress adjacent. I don't trust the post office with something that fragile.
See, it's funny because all my printers, I had my Creality one, and I just got a call from Marty who didn't have any printers. He was like, "Hey, this big print," because I was my first thing I ever printed for costumes was I was trying to think about this the other day. I printed an R2 arm for Marty's R2D2 on my CR10. I had it on my Flash Forge. I had it positioned diagonal because my Flash Forge is like a 6x6x6, and I had it diagonal and it came out really nice. And then like a couple weeks later, he was like, "Hey, they have these CR10s and they're like 197. What do you think?" And I was like, so I just ordered it. I was like, "Yeah, I'll order it."
It's only double the size of your Flash Forge.
Yeah. But yeah, I gotta the fall. We'll see what happens in the fall. I'll have like 2 weeks where I'm like, the next 2 weeks I'll be mental because I'm starting a new job too. I'm the tech ed teacher now, so we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get back into a swing of building things this fall because the problem is the weather.
Yeah,
it's nice that it's not freezing cold, but it's not that great when it's scorching hot.
Oh yeah, it's like we went from winter to Death Valley. Like it was no, Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Well, I mean, welcome to Ohio. That's every year for us. We haven't had a spring or a fall in like 5 years.
Yeah, here it will be hot until probably the week before Halloween, and then it'll be freezing cold by Halloween. Like we had snow one Halloween.
We had snow the first week of November last year. That was our first snow. So, and we'll have snow from November. We'll get a light snow in November. Nothing until it'll just be cold until it's usually either the week before Christmas or the week after. We'll get one hell of a blizzard. It'll be freezing cold for the month of January, and then February, March, April, and we'll get snow, and then the first and second week of May are still cold. It's brutal in Ohio.
Well, I just want weather that I can do. I just want to build more costume, and I'm trying to catch up. Like I have almost my garage cleared out that I can work on my stuff. Like I'm just trying. I'm not taking anything new. I'm good. Like I found a Mandalorian helmet, a Boba Fett. I found a Boba Fett 3D printed Boba Fett helmet in my garage. I didn't even know I had.
Was that from the armor party last year?
Maybe.
Because I could have sworn you had one left over.
Yeah, that's probably it. I didn't realize that because I thought it was my Boba Fett helmet for my Book of Boba Fett thing. I found all that armor that's already painted. So
yeah, you made serious strides.
So I was like, I'm just going through, and I got some more stuff here in the basement to get rid of, and I'm just going through and just banging stuff out. Because Missy wants Vader done by Halloween because she does a haunted thing at her school, so she wants to wear Vader. So, well,
you were supposed to have Vader done by Steel City Con last year.
I know, but this, when your wife wants it done for you, that's a there's not too many grown men that their wife says, "Hey, make sure you have your Vader done." So I'm pretty happy with that in that regard.
You know what? If all it took was Missy lighting a fire under you, I'm a happy camper because we still need our Vader Kylo picks.
Yes. Yeah, and we could get Ken and the Emperor too. Well, and then the forces behind Star Wars put me in a a pressure because they're all coming to visit at the end of September.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, okay, I have to have this done. And I'm like, how am I going to get the seating done for the Jarrett table? So that's like the middle of September's. Like I have 2 days set aside to build that. So I downloaded the plans. So I'm going to try molding foam for that. So I will build the cushions out of wood, then mold them, and then use the same. It's similar to like what you spray foam. You buy it from Smooth On, and you pour it in, and it makes foam. And then you paint it with latex.
Like solid foam or like squishy foam?
You can buy whatever level.
Really?
So I'll buy the level probably that Marty uses for Wookiee feet. So it's a little spongy.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see. I doubt I'll get that done. We'll probably just have fake cushions on it for now. I was looking at the design of the Falcon, of the seating and stuff like that. I mean, I could cheat and just do the Lando one with the yellow cushions on it.
Yeah, it's not traditional. It's not.
No, I want the beat up one.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, and then your friend, the Sabine that I'm helping out, I'm gonna make her a set of shoulder bells tomorrow. I finally found the mold. I thought I had the mold out yesterday, and when I molded, I was like, oh, I think this was a different mold. So one of those molds I made when I was making the tie or the Millennium Falcon molds.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I still have a giant box of pops that I have to sell. So that's fine. Hopefully my last of my pop adventures. We went to a flea market outside of Lancaster, me and Missy 2 weeks ago, and it's a nice flea market. But I guarantee me and her were 20 years younger than every person that came through that flea.
Oh,
These are like 80s and 90s, you know. I was like, okay, I'm not going to sell anything here, and I didn't. I think I sold like $10 worth of stuff, and the table cost me $10.
well, at least you made your money back for the table.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, but a whole day. But, yeah. Besides that, the other thing is, so I thought of a way to give someone a Star Wars score to figure out what kind of fan they are. So hear me out. We have all this content, right? Starting from New Hope. So if you count New Hope, and I don't know how many minutes New Hope is. Do you know offhand?
Not off the dome. I think it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Right. So if you say to someone like, give New Hope a rating, like a 10 is mean you liked it a lot, have no problems with it, whatever. But then you take that number, like a 10 means they get 100% of that time. Then you do the same thing for Empire. And then you can do that for all. So then if I say to you, like the Droids cartoon, right? Did you ever watch any of that, the original one?
I had it as a kid. I had the DVD.
Right. So you probably watched them all, right?
Probably. I can't remember them, but I've seen them.
Oh, did you like them? So then you would rate them. Like, would that be a 0 to 10? Like, so if you give it a 5, however many minutes that entire that thing is, that's how many Star Wars points you would get. And then you would get your Star Wars rating that would be your number.
I feel like there's a way we could actually build this into like a.
No, I was thinking if you did it in a spreadsheet.
Right.
Well, so then you just put the number in. I could do a calculation. It would calculate and add it right there's your score.
Right, but you could use because Google Forms has. You build Google Form and export it into a spreadsheet.
Right, and then that spreadsheet could just throw it into one that's already been built. That's my score because here's my thing. I don't want to gatekeep fans, but if you only like the first 3 movies, are you really a Star Wars fan? Like that's like if you own 2 wheels off of a 57 Chevy. Do you own a 57 Chevy?
Hey, by that logic, I've got 2 hubcaps from an original Corvette.
Yeah, so there you go.
First generation of Corvettes. So by that logic, I own a 61 Vet.
Well, we still have to get you to Jordan's shop, and you can see his old Stingray, 60 whatever, 5 Stingray or 60 whatever, Not to be confused with his 60 something Mach 1.
What?
He has an old Mach 1 as well.
I just want to be friends with Jordan, Like I feel like he and I would get along great. Cars and Star Wars just go hand in hand.
Oh yeah. Well, he doesn't really know much about his. I mean, like he's a car guy, but he's not. You got to see Marty's DeLorean.
Trust me. I've been seeing pictures. I want to see it.
I took him up twice to this guy in Jersey that does all the guy does is work on DeLoreans. And he got a thing now where he hits a remote and the doors open up.
Mm.
And then I built him a box to put his flux capacitor in between. And the car is, as cars go, it's pristine. And,
I need to make it out your way at some point in the near future. There is so much over in the eastern part of my least favorite state that I need to go to. Come on, would it really be an episode of the Inflatable Falcon if I didn't take some sort of shot at the state of Pennsylvania?
Okay, so I talked to this with Ken, and I have been running this through my head. I am very close to making a GoFundMe for the actual inflatable Falcon.
Would it hurt to try?
Well, because I was thinking, put the giant disclaimer. Look, if you're giving this for charity, this is not charity. This is 3 fools that want a giant bouncing house. Okay, if you're feeling it all charitable, go give it to a real charity.
Right.
But if you just want to give us $1, because it's on sale.
Because what is it down? Isn't it down to like $7,500? Like $8,500?
It's like, what is it? Magic jump. Because I feel like we have neglected the inflatable Falcon way too much.
It's out of stock. Wait,
I think it's always out of stock, though. I think it's one of those ones where I don't think it's sitting on a shelf like the guy's going to just go grab it for you.
Right. Ready in 45 to 65 days.
I can live with that. I tell you what, though, the Spider-Man bounce house is pretty good, too. I mean, it's not as good as...
You can finance it.
Oh, God. Imagine that speech to your wife. Yes, dear. I'd like to... I want to finance the least worthwhile... I mean... Honestly, if you owned one, like in the summer when I'm not working, I literally could go around and charge minimal money and set it up for people's birthday parties.
Oh yeah, you could charge $250 for 2 hours.
Yeah. So here we go, $8,200. So
I will say, as much as I love the inflatable Falcon, I hear my dad in the back of my head telling me that I have to be partial to the obstacle course.
Which one? The one?
Yeah.
Can you imagine your dad in his armor and you have recruits running through the obstacle course and he's shouting? He's like Arlie Ermy, from Full Metal Jacket.
Yep.
That would oh man, that would like pay for itself. That's a 50-foot long obstacle course.
Yeah,
wet or dry. Wet or dry.
And it's a giant AT-AT.
Oh God. I'm just it says wet or dry, which is pretty funny. My God. Can you imagine that though?
I would much rather imagine the Falcon just in the backyard at all times.
We could have our two tier It's like giving money. It's like leaving money on the table. I saw the $1,500 bounce house at Anaheim,
Mhm.
and it's not. I'm sorry, it doesn't do the license justice.
Yeah, I honestly I feel like for the extra, you know, what, $140, you're better off going with the 16 by 15 by 14
Yeah,
because it's marginally bigger.
I still find it odd that, and I'm not trying to speak ill of Magic Jump, but they're going to charge you $8,200, and you still don't get the blower. Like you
Look,
still,
we hold on, we love Magic Jump. We
yes,
are huge fans.
yes.
We would never speak ill. However, we'll buy a Falcon at some point.
Yeah.
We will buy the Star Wars Millennium Falcon experience. Throw us a bone, and by bone I mean the blowers.
Yeah.
I can acquire sandbags. I'm sure I can get an easy transporter. I definitely can get two bags of steaks.
I,
But the blowers, though,
I would love to be in the office of Magic Jump because I can't see them selling tons of those, and when they get the phone call for one of those, that's probably like someone writes up on the board, they probably get a free steak at the local whatever they eat. Yeah, I it's been running through my mind, but I don't want to. I also don't want to. I don't want to think people think we're promising anything other than we're just going to buy.
but we're promising content.
Oh yeah,
That's what we're promising.
yeah. That's,
One day, as soon as we hit the lottery,
yeah, I just gotta start playing.
yeah, that's preaching to the choir.
My math abilities don't let me play the lottery. I've played it occasionally, but my grandfather was one of those people that had like a book, a special lottery book, and he had a special popsicle stick for rubbing off his. Like he was all about it, and like when he passed away, he had a book that had every lottery number in it. I mean, he paid like $3 a day, So,
Yeah.
I like $3.
See, I wouldn't play the lottery if I were a gambling man. Sports betting is where I'm at. I know enough about sports. I mean, I made $2,000 earlier this year as soon as sports betting went live in Ohio.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, do you have sports betting? See, Pennsylvania is weird because everything they told us was going to ruin the state is now legal. When I was a kid, you couldn't get alcohol in a convenience store. You couldn't, now you could be 10 and buy cigarettes and stuff when I was a kid. And bullets, like when I was like 15, I would just walk in and buy boxes of bullets. Like, oh, I need some bullets. Like, go ahead, kid. I used to buy just boxes of 22s. Because we would just go shoot 22s at anything we could shoot at.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't do that at home, kids.
No, definitely not.
I think last time I shot a 22, I shot myself in the face. So
Jesus Christ!
We were shooting ice blocks, which is the dumbest thing you can do. And one ricocheted back and caught me right here.
Yeah, not to mention, the actual bullet could ricochet. You can get ice, which is essentially glass. It's all.
We used to shoot in a quarry. We used to shoot in a quarry surrounded by rocks.
Well, I mean, rocks are, depending on how compact the rock is that you're shooting into.
I don't know. It was a big rock. It was just a giant wall of rock. If I get my video, my Indiana Jones spoof I made in high school, we threw a dummy off of it in the final scene. I'll have to dig that video up for one of our episodes. You can see my cinematography.
I wish nothing more.
So, but I did talk to a gentleman about possibly being a guest. He played Boba Fett in. Hang on. look on my phone. He replied to me, and he said he does do interviews. He does do guest spots, but it was too. Let's see. Here we go. Mark Anthony Austin.
Sounds familiar.
Let me see. I forget. I feel bad because I forget what he. He was Boba Fett in the Star Wars New Hope Special Edition.
Huh. All right. That's cool.
So,
is this for us or is this for Zoe?
both. But I'm going to ask them ours first because Zoe and Lizzie are on hiatus. Lizzie graduated and she's back in California, and Zoe works pretty much 9 in the morning till 10 at night, 7 days a week. So
bittersweet, but more power for us.
Yeah,
more content for us.
Well, and so we're an hour, so we're over our limit. But a few things I did want to talk about because we have this unifying fandom network that we want to build, which again I haven't done much this summer. But once we all get back to podcasting, I think we really have to do a landing spot for our things. And like I know I got to talk to Ken because Ken, our show we got it pretty good. Like Ken's usually our guy that gives us the facts. I don't know where you and I fall into it yet.
Well, you steer the ship. I think I'm just here for comedic relief and social commentary. We
still haven't done our stand-up episode.
Damn it! I really wish you would have forgotten about that by now, but
No, I was thinking about it because there's a place near here that lets you do open mic night.
Okay.
And I am fighting all my fears and self-respect and thinking of doing it. And if I do that, then we will definitely be doing one here. But we have the best. We have the Georgies. Like we're 4 months. When did we do the Georgies last year?
I think we did the last day of January.
So we're 4 less than 5 months away from the Georgies.
Speaking of which, here, keep the people entertained for a moment.
Okay. All right. Well, I got 2 people. I don't know if the chat is working. I know I got a chat from Ken on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I'm going to check to see if there is any chat from our 2 listeners. Sorry, I was looking at the Magic Jump, inflatable falcon, and it won't. There we go. See if I have any other Facebook people here. I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't have any chats from there. But we're still going. So, but yeah, we're going to do we have the forces behind Star Wars. We have Star Wars Geek Girl. We have the Rambling Star Wars Fan. That is Ken's podcast. Beskar Bucket. And we have this one, which I've been very bad at loading this up on the iTunes, which I will do. And I'm thinking we're probably going to bring the CreatorCast back in some form. Summer, you think that you have all the time in the world to get stuff done, and it doesn't seem to happen that way. But if you have any questions or thoughts for us, let us know. All right, what'd you get, John?
All right, so the only person up to this point that has seen this is Ken. However, I am working on something.
Nice.
So, I'm not super thrilled with the design so far.
I like it.
It doesn't really translate well on here,
Yeah.
but it's gold with a white stroke.
Oh, okay.
Um,
It just looks white on the screen.
Right. So I didn't want to do it in just white,
Yeah.
but I also didn't want to do it in just gold, because the gold kind of fades into the black a
Yeah.
little bit. So
That's cool.
still working on it, but there is a not so official Georgie's T-shirt
Nice.
that I'm working on.
See, I still think we need a statue. I think we need a statue for the Georgies,
I'm working on it.
and because like you saw my C-3PO sculpture with my busted C-3PO.
Mhm.
I was like, if I had a George Lucas face, I'd just make one like that.
I'm working on it.
So
I'm pulling a handful of strings.
nice.
So hopefully in the next 4.5, 5 months, I can get something.
Because I can cast it and spray it.
Mm-hmm.
But
problem is, we need the files for it.
yeah, well, again, there's software there that you and that I think certain people just have hidden from the common man, because I see these people making 3D files so quickly, and I'm sure they're skilled, but I'm like, there has to be something that someone is just literally putting a 2-dimensional picture in, and it's doing a lot of the work for them.
Right.
So, but yeah, we have the Georgies coming up, and hopefully we can all get our podcasts up and rolling again.
Well, all three of us need to get back on the same screen at one time. It's been what, 4 or 5 weeks since we've all been together.
Yeah, this summer just seemed like but we're doing all right. We got 3 people watching now, so but hopefully they like it and comment. Again, I don't see any comments on Facebook feed, so that's good. I mean, that means it's working. And Ken commented off the YouTube feed, so, and you froze. So John either froze or he's I don't know. John, are you with us? He froze. It's because we went over our hour. So I'm going to exit us. So for those 3 watching, check us out at on YouTube, Facebook. Send us messages if you need it. I just heard a message. Oh, John said his power went out. So I'm going, yeah, so it looks like Ohio is done. So for those that are watching, unless someone wants to jump on, thank you for watching us. Check us out, Star Wars, on Facebook. I'm Mike Hinton. We have Ken Bishop, John Scalise on Instagram. You can also, let me see if I have any of our captions here. Let's see. Unifying Fandom Network, Instagram. You can find me at Hinton Star Wars Family. Ken Bishop, Forces Behind Star Wars Podcast. He also does the Rambling Star Wars Fan, which I don't think I have a thing for him. And John is at the Beskar Bucket. So thank you everyone that watched. Send us messages. Just get us on our social medias. Here we go. There's John. John's stuff is John Scalise TikTok, Beskar Bucket. So, and let us know what you think. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. And let me get see if I can. I've been I've been out of this for so long that I feel like I'm forgetting how to do this. So I am sorry. Let's see.
lips. But then my falcon's hyperdrive just slipped. I used to worry about the future, but then I threw my caution to the wind.